Hey guys, welcome back. So I've got a review video for you today on the Lorac Pro 2 palette. I just recently picked this up from Ulta, and in this video I'm going to go over all the usual things I do in my palette review videos, like pricing, packaging. I'll show you swatches, kind of talk about the formula of the shadows, the wear time, blendability, just how easy are they to work with, and then just my overall thoughts and opinions on the palette. So if you want to see my review on the Lorac Pro 2, then just keep watching. Okay, starting with pricing and packaging. So the price of this palette is $42, and I purchased mine on Ulta's website when it first came out. So I believe Lorac is only sold at Ulta, Kohl's, and online on Lorac's website now. And if you do purchase it online, make sure you use Ebates. I'm really getting a lot better about using Ebates when I purchase online because it's just cash back, and different stores will have different percentages running at any given time, so you can kind of watch for the sales and stuff, but it's basically just free money, and I always have a link down below. It's free to sign up, and it's an awesome website. So if you purchase online, use Ebates. So, okay, this is what the packaging looks like. It's basically exactly the same as the Lorac Pro 1, except it has a 2 on it now. And you do get an eye primer. This is the Lorac behind the scenes eye primer. This is a little mini size. I do like this eye primer. I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it's probably in my top 5 or so. So it is a really nice one. So you get 16 shadows for a total net weight of 0.32 ounces or 8.8 grams. So you do get a nice amount of product. As far as the actual palette goes, this is what it looks like. This is it. This is the other one. So you can see in comparison, they're exactly the same, except this one is gray. So that's really cool. And I love the size of these palettes. They're very sleek and thin, so they don't waste any space in your collection. They're very space and travel friendly. The only thing I really don't like about them is this material is just kind of a rubbery sort of material. So you can see on my first one, it just gets very kind of dirty looking, and it's hard to keep it clean. But it's kind of like that NARS packaging, which, you know, it's fine, but it looks dirty. So this is what the palette looks like. You open it up. It's got a nice size mirror on the back here, and you get 16 shadows. So you can see them right there. So it's basically a neutral palette, but you do have some fun shades thrown in. You've got like a blue, a green, a purple, a silver. So I like that you've got some fun variety in there, that it's still a neutral palette, but you can bring it with you wherever you're going, like traveling or whatever. And you've still got some options for some fun looks. So I love that in a palette. I think that's kind of interesting and different. And you can see that this one is a lot more cool toned versus the first one. Let me get the first one. This one's a lot more warm toned. So you can just see the nature of the shades. It's a lot more warm toned kind of shadows. These are more cool toned. And these have the, you know, those fun shades thrown in, whereas this is all neutral, except there is kind of that deep purple, I guess, technically, but it really comes off very dark, so it's mostly just a neutral. But you can kind of compare those and see this one's kind of more just cool toned and a little bit more fun, I would say. So there are all the shadows. Really cute collection of colors, and now we're going to get into some swatches. Okay, so here are all the matte shades swatched, so don't mind my little scratch in the middle of my hand. I'm very accident prone, so I have no idea how I did that. But anyway, we're going to start down here. This one is Buff. It's just a really great creamy shade, a perfect brow bone highlight. I love when palettes have a shade like this just because it's universal, and it's just a really great standard shade to include. This next one is Light Brown, a beautiful blending shade. It's really, really gorgeous. This one is Cool Gray. It's a really nice basic gray shade. It's great for the crease too. You know, I actually use that in my crease today. And I also use this one. This is Nectar. It's a really pretty kind of peachy pink. It's just beautiful. Kind of a unique shade. You really don't see a lot of matte shades that look like that. Then moving over here, this one is Plum. It's just a beautiful purple. It swatches to me a lot darker than it looks in the palette, but it's still beautiful. The next one is Navy, just a gorgeous blue. It's got a lot of kind of green to it, so it's almost like a teal blue. It's still a navy, but it's just on the green side of navy. And then the next one is Charcoal right here. It's a nice, just basic gray. I would say it's not super pigmented. That's not always a bad thing though. You know, you can kind of build it up a little bit, but it doesn't immediately pack a punch like I was expecting it to. And then the last one is Black. This is really kind of a grayish black. It's not a super, super jet black, which I kind of wish it was a little bit darker, but it does make it a little bit easier to work with because it doesn't completely overtake your look because it's not super intensely dark black. So here are all the matte shades. Now here are the swatches for the metallic shades. So we're going to start down here. This one is Snow, just a gorgeous metallic white. It is so beautiful and bright. I mean, that will give you a super bright, light eye look. It's gorgeous. The next one is Beige. It's just a beautiful kind of like champagne-y sort of color. I do have that on the middle of my lid. It's a beautiful shade also. It's very close to my skin tone color, so it's not showing up super bright. I would say it probably is close to Kitten from Stila. I don't own that shade, but just on memory, it looks like that kind of just basic champagne sort of a shade. Really pretty. The next one is Rose, just a beautiful light rose gold. It's really pretty. The next one is Mocha. Kind of an interesting name for this one. It's just kind of like a mid-tone sort of a, it's not coppery, it's just a brown, but it's kind of that, just a mid-tone metallic brown. It's really pretty. A little bit like a light chocolate brown, something like that. Milk chocolate would be a good kind of a shade name for it. Okay, next is Chrome. This is just a beautiful taupey shade, really nice pigmentation. Next is Silver, a gorgeous metallic silver. Jade is next. It's a really pretty green, and it's pretty dark. It's just a nice kind of army green. And then finally is Cocoa, just a really, really pretty dark chocolatey brown. And it's got that, you know, metallic sort of a sheen to it, so it's beautiful. For a basic smoky eye, that one would be gorgeous. And then just grab one of those other matte shades to blend it up. So easy, but just beautiful. So there are all the metallic shades. Okay, my neighbor just decided to start mowing his lawn, so I'm so sorry if you can hear that in the background. I will try to talk louder so that you hear me over the mowing, but what are you gonna do? People mow their lawns, you know? I mean, I guess I'm thankful that he mows his lawn so it doesn't look bad. But anyway, as far as the formulation for these shadows, it's basically exactly the same as the Lorac Pro 1. These are very, very soft shadows. They're very pigmented. They do have quite a bit of fallout. I notice more fallout with the Lorac Pro 1 than the Pro 2. At least with the shadows that I've played with, I don't see quite as much fallout with these, which is nice. But these are so, so soft that they blend together super easily. I've always said with the Lorac Pro 1 that it's not my favorite palette because the looks just get very muddy for me, at least what I notice and for my preference. I like a lot of kind of contrast with my eye looks, and this one, you know, it just seems to get very muddy. So it's never been my favorite as far as just formulation and the overall palette. But what I do notice with this palette is it doesn't get as muddy, and I think it's basically just the sheer fact that there's more contrast in the shades that are in this palette. Like for example, if I'm doing a look with this one and I go in with a champagne and then I'm deepening it up my outer corner with a brown, I'm still kind of in that same brown family, so it all kind of muddies together and is one big brown mess. Whereas this one is, it's just a lot more contrast. So like today I used Jade and then I also used Beige, and those are nowhere close to each other. So you can see it didn't get muddy. It still blended nicely, but it's not just one big blob. There's still definition. So I don't think that the formulation is any different. I think they're exactly the same, but I think the fact that this palette has more contrast in the shades within it, it just, it's easier to work with, in my opinion. So I find that the formulation of the shadows doesn't bother me nearly as much with this palette than the first one. So this is not my favorite formula of shadows, but it's easier to work with this collection of colors than the first one. As far as wear time, they wear really well. They're not the longest wearing eyeshadows that I've experienced, but they do wear well on the eyes, especially if you use a primer. It does stay on your eyes very well throughout the day. So that's kind of overall about the formula. Okay, my overall thoughts and opinions on this palette, I like it much, much more than the Lorac Pro one. Just like I said, the collection of colors in it I think are just kind of more fun. I think they're easier to work with because there's more contrast within them. Is it a must-have? Not for me, but it's just because I don't really love the formulation of these shadows. But if you love super soft shadows, if you love shadows that blend super easily, then you will love this palette. If you like cool toned colors and you like kind of fun colors thrown in. If you love the Lorac Pro 1 and the texture of those shadows, I think you'll love this one too. So it's just about, are you looking for a cool toned palette? Are you looking for a palette with a few fun colors thrown in? Do you really like soft, super, super blendable shadows? If all of those answers are a yes, then yes, you will love this. I have been enjoying it quite a bit though, so I'm not disappointed that I bought it. I have been really loving it. It's just not one of my top 5 or top 10 favorite palettes ever in my collection. Alright guys, so that's my overall review on the Lorac Pro 2 palette. I hope this video was helpful for you. I do have a blog post on this palette. I will link that down below for you guys. I'm really trying to kick up my blog game for you guys and do more posts and pictures and all that kind of stuff, so you can kind of stay up on my blog because I'm really trying to be better about doing more posts for you guys. So I'll link the post for this palette down below. I did film a tutorial on this look right here, so you can watch for that on my channel. That'll be up soon. So yeah, that was my overall review. I hope it was helpful. Please give it a thumbs up if it was and let me know any questions you have down below. I'm happy to answer those. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this palette. Please subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!